Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Long Drive Clinic with Kyle Berkshire. I'm Bernie Najar, Kyle's coach from back in the day. Kyle, 2009 we started working together?
It's been a while. So I remember walking up there, I was like 10, 11 years old, not even 5 feet tall. So it's been a long journey.
Yeah, so we've known each other a long time. We look forward to sharing with you Kyle's long drive capability, but also take you through the bag so you can see how he plays golf, not only from a long drive perspective, but the game that most of us are familiar with, which is from tee to green. We're not going to hit any putts today, Kyle.
No.
But we're going to show you that Kyle has some great ball striking skills that he developed as a junior golfer. And you still work on your game today. You still like to play. You still like to compete. And I think one of the things that makes you unique to long driving is that you can still hit irons, you can still hit wedge shots, and that type of training is probably giving you nice balance in the world of long drive.
Absolutely. It's been a balancing act the last couple of years. It was a tough decision to go into long drive because I felt like I had a pretty good chance as a pro. But yeah, I mean, in the winters, I get as good as I can at golf, and in the summers, I get as good as I can at long drive, and I try to do both. It can be tough, but I think it's been really good for both sides of the sport to have a little bit of a mix in there, so it's been good.
So why don't we take them through a few wedge shots here, and why don't you start with a 60-yard wedge shot, and for those of you wondering what club he's hitting, this is a 60-degree wedge.
Going for that pin up there, left center. I think it's about probably a 95-yard shot.
And we also have the shot data on the TV, in case you're interested, especially as we go through the bag. You're going to see some numbers that are pretty cool to see.
That should be pretty solid. It's always what you want to see when you're trying to hit a wedge shot. And it's always been an interesting challenge for me because I have to do a lot of things to purposely throttle down. So one of the things I do that my coach Bernie taught me, I have a very strong right arm. And so what I'll do when I try to hit it shorter, I'll actually soften it a little bit so that it's never straight. That cuts off my levers a little bit, allows me to make the same effort swing, but a little less speed. For me with golf, it's always a challenge with spin control and trajectory control because when you have a lot of speed, I can get out of hand fast. So that's another one, holding the wind pretty good. So it's a couple decent shots. We'll switch into the 48-degree wedge now.
And for those of you looking at these wedge shots, for a long drive hitter with lots of club speed, the big struggle is hitting the ball too high with too much spin. So he's done a great job of minimizing his backswing, getting his backswing in a place where it's under control and he can flight his irons nicely.
Yeah, and rolling into the 48-degree wedge, I'll show you a few more flighted shots. With this wind, it's especially important to be able to control ball flight. So that's kind of about as high as I'd want to hit it. It's holding its flight pretty good. Probably about a 120-yard shot, 130-yard shot, 124 carry. Hit one more similar shot. Just a soft little draw. That's what I want to see. I've always been someone who hits the inside of the ball, which creates a slight draw. So that should be right around there, 121 carry. It's about right. And I can hit it a little more, a little less, depending upon the conditions. But we'll go fuller swing here. I probably wouldn't hit a shot like this in these conditions, but I know you guys want to see me hit it hard, so we'll go ahead and do that for you. So here's a full swing. You can imagine that's going to be very hard to control where it's going to come down.
Which is why it's hard to be a world long drive champion and play the PGA Tour, because you have to flight the golf ball with your wedges. In fact, at the club I teach at Caves Valley Golf Club in Maryland, one of our members, Tom Kite, shared some wisdom with me one evening at dinner, which was to play the tour, you have to hit your long irons high and your short irons low. He said that's the secret to playing the tour, along with being a great putter. And if you think about speed in the game of golf today, all the players with lots of speed, where they struggle is usually on the wedges. Even a player like Rory McIlroy, who drives the ball amazing, when he's a little bit off, it's on the wedges and short irons. And Kyle can empathize with that, and
Yeah.
certainly you can see as that ball flight gets up in the air really high, you lose a little control. So one thing to take from this for your own game is keep your short irons at a lower trajectory.
Yeah. And I'll hit one more for you guys. This is going to be the same effort swing, but I'm going to take off the guardrails I mentioned before with a soft right arm and a few other things that he taught me. So this is going to be same effort, but notice how the club speed jumps even though I'm making a similar effort swing. So that jumped about 3-4 miles an hour, and that's, in my opinion, the same effort, but all I've done is changed a few little things in my setup. And that's a shot I would never want to hit because you're going to have a hard time breaking 90 in this wind if you hit shots like that too much. But so that rolls us into the 8-iron. This is where I start to my speed starts to help me out a little more than it hurts me. But I do still need to flight these shots down a lot as well. So I'll start with a few flighted shots. I guess we'll try to go over the 150. And it always tends to be a slight draw for me. Hit one more. So that's carrying about 160. That's a pretty typical number when I'm trying to knock it down. It's about what you'll see on tour, maybe a hair shorter. But I'm always looking at the height. The height was 82 feet. If you start getting over 100 feet, that's when it gets very difficult to control the ball. Another one. And I've always liked playing those types of shots because you can predict where it's going to land a lot better. And if you mishit it or you hit something that's working too much left or right, it'll land quick. And you can notice how consistent the carry is within a yard or two of the same carry number. And that's huge because if you have a consistent carry number, you can miss a little more right to left and still be pin high. And when you're pin high, your putts are always going to be a lot shorter. So now go into a full swing. And again, this will be with the guardrails put on my setup to help keep me a little bit slower. So that's 112, 154, hit one more like that. But you can notice the height, 143 feet. It's going to be very hard to control where that ball is going to come down.
And what you all are watching here from a club speed perspective is pretty close to the PGA Tour average speed with the driver.
Yeah, so there's two there.
And he's just swinging an 8-iron,
So
just to give you an idea what's coming next.
they're both pretty close to the center line, a couple feet away from center line. So now I'm going to go with the same effort swing. I'm going to take those guardrails off, and you'll see the speed jump a little bit. So 118.7, 161.6, hit one more. That went 220 in the air. With this wind, you're not going to get as much aerodynamics. And frankly, the harder I swing, the return on distance with a higher lofted club is not very high because when you spin it more, you carry it less. And the more speed you hit the ball with, the more that spin's going to be going backwards. So it doesn't do as much as you might think until you start getting into the lower lofted clubs. That's when you get a lot more out of your speed. So I'll hit one more, see if we can get close to 120. That's 120 and a half. So already getting up there with the 8-iron. So now moving to the 6-iron. And this is where you start to see a lot more full swings, but I do still like to hit flighted shots with this club as well. This will probably go in the neighborhood of 200 yards. And that's about as high as I'd want to hit it in this kind of wind. So if I had something that was, in that 200-yard range, that's the exact shot I'd want to hit. There you go, carries 203. Get one more, flighted shot.
It's pretty nice when you can just make a nice little 3/4 swing and hit it that far, Kyle.
It's always a nice thing to have, but you got to know when to use it. But so 195 carries, so very consistent 200-yard carries, and again, that height is staying under 90 feet. So that means I can control it a lot more. So now we'll go into a full swing. This will be about 118 miles an hour, just because I got the guardrails put on again. $117.5. So that's kind of a swing I'd make. You'll see that a little more because with this iron being a little less lofted, there are times where it makes sense to go ahead and swing full, especially if there's not a lot of wind. So now I'll go into taking the guardrails off. See the speed jump a little bit. Should be in the low 120s here. $121, we'll do one more. See if we can get kind of close to 125. I don't think we'll get to 125, but see if we can get close. If I get to 125, oh my God. $121.5. So moving to the 4-iron.
Yeah, but before you do that, why don't you just show them a little shot making here? Would you
Okay.
take that 8-iron back and show them a nice, how about a big draw here? Would you guys like to see a big draw? Be pretty cool. Where's this going to
We'll
start,
see what,
Kyle?
I don't know if I'd call this the draw, but
All right,
we'll hit something.
a big hook. In case you need to get around the trees. Now keep in mind when you play this shot, use a more lofted club. 7, 8, 9 iron is going to work really well when you want to draw it. When you want to fade it, maybe show them with the 4-iron.
Yeah, take a little loft off and hit a bit of a fade.
Yeah,
Fade is not my preferred shot shape, just to be clear, so
we're putting you on the spot.
we'll see if we can force it.
You can do this. Very nice.
I just want to make sure I moved left to right.
Well done.
So
Kyle, if you, while you got that in your hand, what about if you need to hit it really low?
So if I was to hit it low, which is definitely a shot I need a lot of people will say put it in the back of your stance, but I don't like that because you're going to have a really steep low point. It's just doesn't fit very well in the swing arc. What I like to do is put it further up in my stance and just do a forward press and hold that, and you can kind of catch it more on the upswing. Just personally what I like to do, it works both ways, but that's just what I found works better. And so if I need a 230, 240 yard shot, and just get it down the ground and working, I'll just forward press, put it up back in my up in my stance, and just swing left. And that'll cut through the wind. That should land at about 220, 230, and it'll chase out pretty good. Yeah, 238, chase out to 255. So just what I said, you want something 250, just get it on the ground. A lot of these holes where, especially out there today, if you don't have to hit it far, you probably need to hit it straight. So that can be a very critical shot. So I'll see if I can hit one more. Again, just go straight up, straight down, cuts through the wind. If I were to play a tournament today in this wind, I'd be hitting a ton of those shots off the tee because you just don't need much more than that. So we'll go into full swings of the 4-iron now. This will get up in the air a little more. I don't hit too many flighted shots at the 4-iron because, frankly, at this point, it's an advantage to have speed to get the ball in the air. So it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to continue to hit that flighted shot, and it's just harder to control. So we'll see if we can put a few on that 250 sign. That's drawing nicely in there.
Pretty big difference in the peak height on that.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty high, but it should be on that green.
What was the height on that one there, Kyle?
That was 162 feet, but the reality is if you want to get the ball to go that far and stop, you're going to eventually have to get in the air. And I can tell you any tour pro in these conditions would be thrilled with a shot anywhere on that green at 250 out. And that's just the reality. The reason tour pros seem to be a lot better ball striker than they are is because they're so good around the greens. They can get away with a few loose shots going into the greens. So you just got to manage expectations. So I'll put a little more on this one. Take the guardrails off again, as I said. See what we can get that up to. So that's 124 club speed. See if we can crack 125. Should be able to, just with a nice little release of the hands. There's 125.7, 180 ball speed.
And now we're going to move into
The one
the
iron.
weapon. This is a 1-iron. Anybody here have a 1-iron in their bag? Raise your hand if you have a 1-iron. Used to be a weapon of choice, but nowadays it's a rarity, but it's a great club for a high-speed player. And I would say you'd probably outdrive most of the PGA Tour with this club.
I would say if you were to put my 1-iron against the driving distance, it would be somewhere in the top 20.
Yeah.
So we'll smoke a couple 1-irons, see if we can hit that canopy. So when I actually practice out here a lot. One of the most beautiful courses you'll ever find in the world. And I actually have a drill where I try to put as many on that canopy as I can in a row. My record is 7. It was done on a much less windier day than today, so we'll see if we can put any on that. But this is definitely one of my most important clubs in the bag. And if it's working, I can go low. If it's not working, I'm in trouble. So that's 182, 133 club speed, 305 carry, 322 total. And I always look at the side total here. So fairways on tour are typically about 40 yards wide. So if you have a 60 feet left or right side total or less is in the fairway, as long as I see something within 80 to 90 feet left or right of target line, I'm probably okay. So I don't want to see it get much bigger than 98, but as long as I'm within that range, as far as I'm hitting it, it's going to be a benefit to hit this club. So I'll hit one more normal, and then we're gonna start ripping it. So. That's going to be big. So that's going to be by far its carry, definitely. 323 carry, 342 total, 134 in the club. So let's have a little fun now. We'll put a little more petrol on it. See if we can carry it, get close to that hole 1 on the Trump 9. So I wouldn't hit it this hard in a tournament, but we'll let it go. So that's 138 club speed. Do one more, see if we can get to 140. All right, one more, and we'll go to the driver. So 138, 39.8, 191 ball speed, and 316 total, 316 carry. I hit that one pretty good. So now we'll go into the play driver. This is the driver of choice I'll use on the golf course. Now, to be honest, I don't use many of these at all because typically most courses don't call for a 380-yard tee shot. So I have to manage when I do hit it because the reality is at these speeds, you can hit it huge, you miss huge because the angles have to be so precise. So we'll hit a couple play drivers and then we'll get into the big stick. I like that fly. It's a soft draw. It's pretty much exactly what I'm trying to do. 141 the club, 208.8 ball speed, 352 carry, 371 total. Do one more like that. It's another good one. 210 ball, 141.8 club. Now step on one, hit one a little harder than I normally would in tournaments. So we're gonna start to see the speed go up now. And we're gonna start to see some balls go this way and that way probably too, admittedly. So here we go. So I like to hear I need that energy. So that's a 145.6 club speed. Hit one more and then we'll move into the long drive club. This is still the play driver. So 214, 146. And now time for the big dog.
And for those of you who've not seen a long drive competition, they're using 48-inch drivers. Kyle, talk a little bit about the equipment for them.
So the biggest difference is the 3 inches in length. To be fair, this is only going to go about 10 to 12 yards further than a play driver would. but in our sport, that can mean the difference between winning and losing very easily. Loft will be about 2 to 3 degrees less, right in that neighborhood. And this is built for one thing, raw distance. You know, you're going to see some crazy misses, but you're also going to see some pretty huge drives when I hit it right. So start having some fun now. Here we go. So that's 224. I think that hole one on the Trump nine is starting to get a little full. All right, here we go. So that was 394 total. So this is this is a bit of a tough wind, crosswind, but we're still going to get 400. So here we go. Hit about 7 to 8 more. And we're really going to let all these go, see what we can get out there. Here we go. 377 total. A little high in the face. All right, here we go. 226 ball speed. We got 226.2. 385 total. Club speed is probably around 153 right now. In competition, when I'm fully amped up and really going, you'll see mid to upper 150s. My fastest ever is 165 club, 239.7 ball speed. So,
It's time to break that with the pros here.
well, no pressure, right? So I'll give it my best shot. Hit about 6 or 7 more. Start letting it go. Hope there's no ladies on the 13th hole there. I need another tee. I got it. That was 391 though. So we're getting close. 153 club speed, so if I line it up, we should be getting close to 230 ball speed.
Oh, man.
225.6, necked it just a hair. 391, I want that 400. We're gonna hit 5 more, really unload, let's go.
Oh, Kyle.
Here we go, going for 400. See, it's all about the flight. 398. We're getting close. We're getting close. Here we go. All right, 1.7 yards more. It's about 0.5% further. Here we go.
Yeah, that's flight. Wow. That's the flight.
228 ball speed. 393. Oh, that wind switched in. Oh, come on, I need that wind's help. Can you tell that wind to switch this way? I know, we need a fan. All right, we're gonna see if we can get there. It's gonna be a tough one, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. Come on. 226.9, we'll see. 388, oh. I haven't hit one that I've absolutely killed yet, so if I can kill one, I think it's there. All right, here we go. Come on, stay in a short game clinic, Kyle, let's go.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby.
228.8. I don't know, that's gonna be close. 399.6. We're gonna keep going, I got this. We're gonna get it. All right, 3 more. 3 more, here we go. All right. Need to hit it 2 feet further. Come on, let's go. Come on. Miss hit. It's always good when miss hits go straight. All right, only 22 yards short on a miss hit. I feel good about my chances if I connect. Oh! Come on. See. 376. Was spinning. All right, come on. Let's go. I need to turn it over. All right, last ball. One more. Do or die. Best for last. That's what I like to hear. All right, here we go. One more. Come on. Come on. See, it's all about the carry. 399.2. You guys want me to hit a few more and get there? Yeah. Yeah? All right. Now you see why hitting far is so addictive. Oh, come on. Come on, let's go. I need half a yard. .408. Hey, I didn't say I was going to hit it straight. I was just going for 400. But 380 carry, 408 total, so that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you guys enjoyed your Aramco, this beautiful golf course. Had a fun time.